I don't know, Alec Gunter is a thing again, so we're watching him. This is Alec Gunter. He is debating the most vile transphobe he's ever debated. And we love transphobia here. It's my thing. I'm a transphobic trans person, clearly. So yeah, let's see Alec Gunter, self-styled white knight of the transes. Let's see what he thinks transphobia is, I guess. Oh, it's censored. Nah, you know what? I've already been. Wait. See description for details on how to access the uncensored version. It doesn't say fucking shit. It's just donate to me. I'm not donating to Alec Gunter. Fuck that shit. Listen. Progressive Victory is now working with Alex Gunt. I see big things for both Alex Gunt and for Progressive Victory.
Because if you aren't replacing your population, if you're not having 2.1 births per capita, 2 to replace the parents, plus the occasional third child to keep it going.
What if I hold a woman down and forcibly impregnate her? Is that good?
Jesus Christ, we're getting Vorsh in there. We're getting a bit Vorsh already.
Generally, no.
Why not? Wait, generally? Is there ever a situation where that's good?
And I'm not an expert on Sharia.
No, answer that question. I want an answer to that question. Is there
Let me guess. There's probably some situation where you might be the only 2 people left on the planet and you're a male and she's a female, but she doesn't want to have sex with you. So yeah, maybe you might have to forcibly impregnate her.
a situation. Okay.
In times of war, you are allowed to take concubines. But
there we go. In times of war, this person is American, living in America. I don't know about the other guy.
You're supposed to treat them well.
Oh, while you're right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. And how about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Got some stuff done. Went and worked out. Because I'm trying to stay off of Twitter. So what I did was I put a comment underneath that saying, if you want to debate me, here's how to reach out to me. We can do it on my live stream because I like making content out of it. So here we are. And you wanted to talk about autogynephilia. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And then is there...
Oh, sorry.
No, please continue. Go ahead.
There we go. AGP. Let's all get that going.
So before we get in this discussion, so I can have some background knowledge about, what position or what perspective you're speaking from, how would you, describe yourself politically? I know, you're the host of the show, but
of course, no, that's fair.
Asking me the questions.
No, that's fair. I should have started off with that. So I consider myself a progressive. You can call me a leftist. You can call me a liberal. I don't really care. But progressive would be the most proper term, I think. It's just the most encompassing.
He's definitely got some like weird anarchy shit going on. But yeah, I don't know. These people tend to be quite cagey with what they actually believe in. So.
My policy is whatever makes more people's lives better and fewer people's lives worse. So when I look at transgender issues, I used to be transphobic.
AGP pride, absolutely.
Right, I used to not like trans people because I would go on porn websites and I would look at the women's section and there would inevitably be trans women there and I'd be like, I don't like that. And then that's where my transphobia kind of came from. And so later on, I realized, wow, that's really fucking stupid. And I decided it doesn't matter what my porn preferences are. People can...
It always comes back to porn with these people. Fuck me. He is going to transition one day. I'm calling it. Now that he said that, it's definitely going to happen.
By the way, I basically had a better understanding of gender and sex and how transgender people
I learned what sex was through porn. I learned what gender was through watching porn. It just always comes back to porn. What is it? Fuck me. You people have a problem. Like, I've never really watched all that much porn. It's everyone else. You all have the problem. I don't.
Operate day to day, which is just like the rest of us. They're just normal. They just want to live their lives. It just happens that their gender identity does not allow.
No, he just didn't like that he'd look for women to whack off to, and occasionally in amongst there'd be a bloke, and he'd be like, oh, that's gay. I think that's literally what the extent of it was.
Fine with the sex that they were assigned at birth.
What we're dealing with here, you have to understand, is one of those like pretty far left progressive types who used to be pretty far right and conservative. Kind of similar to Zanderhau. And there's more of these kinds of people in these spaces than you'd expect. The people that bounce between extreme ideologies rather than kind of end up landing somewhere over time and kind of just moving around, incrementally or whatever.
Or the genitalia they were born with, because we have gender, without getting too far into the weeds, we have gender and we have sex. and gender is socially prescribed, and sex is medically prescribed. So there's a difference between like transgender versus transsexual. There's a difference between if you say you're a man versus male.
I feel like we're making it like super complicated right away, but sure.
Things like that. So I just believe that however people want to identify, as in terms of gender, like I don't really care that much. It doesn't make a difference to me. It's not my life and it's not my body.
I don't know if I even meant to do an accent, to be honest with you. I'm the kind of person I will say stuff and instantly forget it, so I can't remember what I said.
Okay, I see where you're. I used to be a liberal myself. My birth name is Oliver. I converted to Islam. My new name is Ali.
Okay.
And my fundamental.
So it's two of these kinds of people. They're normally a bit insane. So yeah, I guess he's seeing a mirror image of himself and not liking it. Maybe, I don't know.
Problem with transsexuality is that it's abnormal. When you see a woman or a man dressed up as a woman walking down the
I mean, that's a terrible argument. Like, it's abnormal. So are lots of things,
street, or a woman dressed up as a man walking down the street, you see.
I definitely have ADHD. I'm like, maybe eventually I'll get something for it. I don't know. But everyone who's trans has fucking autism and ADHD. Like, just how it is. Occasionally it's like really unhelpful, this kind of thing, because I'll get halfway through a point and just forget what I was saying, or I'll forget what the person said and have to like go back. But I don't know. When I watch other people, it kind of makes me feel better because I think I probably flow better than a lot of people. So,
mental illness. You see.
What about it is mental illness?
It's a mental illness because it's not normal.
What's normal?
Because
he's not bringing his best so far, I gotta say.
Normal is what God has prescribed for the human race, which is that there are two genders, male and female.
Why should I care what God has to say on the subject?
Because history shows that societies that respect God are successful. If you look at Saudi Arabia, they're the richest country.
Saudi Arabia, I'm pretty sure that like they'll lynch you for being gay in the street. I don't consider that a very good country to live in. I like having sexual freedom.
They're one of the richest countries in the world.
I don't care. Do you think that like their average citizen sees that wealth?
Yes, I've spoken to many Saudis at my master's.
I'm sure you have, but like if you were to pull up the statistics right now, how many Saudis do you think have like above $100,000 income?
Jesus, I don't like his debating style very much, but when it's like both of them aren't very good, it's kind of, I don't even know.
I think it's most of them? Exactly, not very many. So like I said, most of the people there don't even see that wealth. So this is a no.
Mr. Girl's transfer. I need to look at some of them. I tended to not watch much of the Mr. Girl stuff because he just talks too slowly and pauses constantly, and he was always super rude to everyone else around him, and I found that a bit of a turn off myself. But hey, maybe I'll watch some of them on here someday.
No argument already.
Well, the thing is, I'm a Maoist myself.
Okay.
I believe in Islam, but also politically I see that, you're right, there is a problem of the...
Well, Maoist, this guy probably has plenty in common with trans people. I got kicked from at least one, like, trans community for not being okay with, like, pro-Mao, like, landlord massacre memes, so that's nice.
Of the hoarding of wealth, which, if you look at Saudi Arabia, it's a massive advancement over what we have in the West. It's not perfect.
Okay, but again, to stay on point, though, your argument was, look at Saudi Arabia, they don't like the transes, and they're doing great economically, because look at their GDP. To which I responded, the average person doesn't see that. So do you value people like, their version of whatever Elon Musk is or Jeff Bezos? Do you value them having that much money over the people they're having sexual and freedom of presentation?
Well, I'm sorry, can you please restate that?
So what I
Yeah, I'd say so. I like the streamer Queeman, and I think he was a big, like, Mr. Girl simp to begin with. But he's like, for a Destiny hater, he tends to agree with him a lot, so I don't know if he's just trying not to say that actually he kind of likes Destiny. But I like Queeman in general, so.
You said that look at Saudi Arabia and how well they're doing financially, correct? Economically.
Yes, they're doing very good economically.
Yes,
they're also doing very good culturally.
Sure, but let's stay on economic because that was your argument. So my counter argument to that was most people there don't see that. It's just a select.
He's quite controlling over how this debate is going. Like, he's really trying to steer it. Like, I don't like that very much. There's not much opportunity for like free flowing. I guess Queeman's kind of like Chud Logic in a lot of ways. I like Chud Logic a lot. I also like Queeman. He tends to cover more of the smaller shit that Chud Logic doesn't cover anymore, and Destiny definitely doesn't cover anymore. Like drama shit. So like, I don't know. He's one of the people you'll hear like Tom Tent from, for example.
few. And then
Okay,
you
that's
have
true.
to, so now you have to explain why you value like just money in general being there.
Yeah, this is like, we're 6 minutes in. He's really controlling this conversation. Like, geez, I would struggle with someone like this because I'd find this like infuriating.
And anybody
Okay,
having
I
it,
get
or
what
like
you're saying now.
yeah,
I get what you're
exactly.
saying now. Well, I mean, look at the U.S. We live in a highly liberal society
Okay.
where, in some states you can cut your kid's penis off at 16.
That's not
but
true.
We also have a lot of
That's
wealth
not true, by the way.
inequality.
In some states, you can cut your kid's penis off at 16. Is he going to say that surgery never happens on minors, or just that vaginoplasty doesn't happen on minors? Because the first one is definitely a lie. I don't know if you can get a vaginoplasty at 16. You can get a mastectomy.
You just said a lie.
We're
That was a
very,
lie that you just
we live
said.
in a
You
very
just
liberal
lied.
society. Whatever 18 or 21.
Just so
whatever
it's on the
they-
record that do you have any evidence of like parents being allowed to chop their kids' penises off at 16? Can you show me any cases?
Yes, there was
Okay.
a documentary about it. Trying to
Okay, who was
glorify
it?
I'd have to do regardless.
Trying to
this is
glorify it?
besides the point.
What? Okay, what's the point then?
It's
That's
called
your
like
point.
trans adolescent. The bottom line is that. Hello.
I'm there.
Oh, okay. I heard like another voice in the background.
Might be my fiance.
Oh, okay. Well, the bottom line is that
I found something. We got age is just a number. WPATH affiliated surgeons' experiences and attitudes towards vaginoplasty in transgender females under 18 years old in the United States. This is from 2017. I think this is more to do with like how normalized, how like standardized stuff is and approaches. I don't know what this is telling me. I'll just keep watching for now.
there's a high level of wealth equality here in the U.S., and we're also a much more liberal society than Saudi Arabia.
There's a higher.
I think he said it's a lie. I don't know whether he knows whether that's true or not. But the other guy is just kind of moving on anyway. So
What? Sorry. Higher wealth inequality?
because he watched a documentary or something. I don't know. It gets irritating when it's people who have completely different supposed knowledge bases, and you know, you don't want to be just sat there sharing sources and like, well, you need to watch this. Well, now you need to watch that. You know. And I feel like people who do these kind of debates should really try and not steer them that way, but hey.
There's higher or equal wealth inequality here in the U.S.
That's correlation
And we
without
can both
causation.
agree.
First of
We
all,
can
and
both
second of all,
agree.
I don't even know if that's true, but that's correlation without causation.
Well, we can both agree that both of the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. Keep in mind, Saudi Arabia is not even the only country with Sharia. There's countries like Afghanistan which are building economic
Which country's better? This is boring.
relations with the People's Socialist Republic of China that are doing very well. Malaysia is doing very well.
You said you would get knee replacements. You just told me that you are fundamentally against people doing things inside of their body that are not medically necessary. Should I get rid of them?
I know we possibly got onto something more interesting now.
Well, that's not a modification of the
Why not? Men and women doing that, yes? Again, like, I don't see what that has to do with people's sexual freedom. I don't understand, like, the comparison here, or, like, their freedom of expression.
Well, the bottom line is that if you're a man who wants to take hormones and pump silicone into your chest and may
You
or
like
may not
women do?
be penis turned
You
inside,
like
well,
cis
yes,
women
that's
do?
wrong too. That's wrong
What?
too. I will
Okay,
agree that
I
a woman
disagree.
altering herself, altering her body. in
Okay,
any
but just to
form.
be clear, then you're against both men and women doing that, yes?
Yes.
Okay,
because
so then
Allah
that's not an
subhanahu wa
argument
ta'ala
against. So that's a
is
God, he really like, I don't know. It bothers me how much he's like forcing this shit. How do people make arguments like countries which respect God do well? How does the brain even do that? I don't know. What I will say is I went to a school that used to kind of make us sing like hymns and stuff when I was a kid. And there was a lot less of this like weird trans shit around. But at the same time, like I'm not pro-religion in general. I don't know how much any religion should bear over society, really. But hey, maybe if shit keeps getting crazier and crazier, maybe I'll start believing the opposite. Who knows?
different argument then. That's not an argument against trans people. That's just an argument against silicone injections, which is a completely off-topic argument. So,
well, I'm against all forms of body modification.
like glasses,
And
I wear
transgender
glasses.
is
Should
a
I get rid of them?
Glasses is not body modification. What? Like, that would be like saying wearing clothes is body modification. Because I don't even know. Like, Jesus Christ. This should be like a really easy one.
Well, that's not a modification of the
Why not?
inside of your body.
The inside of my body. Okay, how about a knee replacement?
A knee replacement. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I should clarify. I'm against any kind of, as a Muslim, we're supposed to be against any kind of unnecessary,
a knee replacement is not necessary. You can live without any replacement.
But it physically, your knee is something that you physically need
Get a wheelchair.
to get around.
Get a wheelchair. Nope.
What the fuck? He's not serious with this. This is like Vorsh on steroids shit. Like, I don't know. I'm supposed to not be taking the other guy's side because he's clearly a bit of a moron and apparently transphobic, but like, you don't need a knee replacement. Go in a fucking wheelchair. Like, really, bro? Like, this is like Vorsh level fucking sophistry.
No body modifications. That sounds like pussy shit to me. Why would you say?
Like, walking is pretty necessary for most people. Like, yeah, you could go in a wheelchair, but like, I feel like there's a quite clear like improvement of life quality if you just get the fucking knee replacement. Like, I don't know.
Say that it's fine for people to get knee replacements. You just told me that you are fundamentally against people doing things inside of their body that are not medically necessary. I don't consider knee.
He is really annoying. It's like, you know, what about this? Oh no, just use a wheelchair. It's not necessary. Okay, well, what you just said was like this. What you just said thing. I don't know.
Knee replacement medically necessary.
Well,
for the purposes of this conversation. Huh? Who disagrees with me?
Try listening. Try not talking every time he talks.
Scholars of Sharia, who after the revolution would run the United States, would disagree with you.
Okay, I don't care what they say.
After the revolution. Oh my god, I love these LARPers, man.
You don't have to care what they say. I'm telling you my perspective that we should have.
Okay, I'm not asking about the scholar's perspective. I'm asking about yours. So
yes,
your perspective.
My perspective is that we should have a society ran by a communist party of Islamic scholars.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. I mean,
have they actually spoken about AGP? Yeah, I thought this was about AGP.
Fine with like, you know, communism as a concept, but why specifically like Muslim communists?
Because Islam is the correct religion. If you look at Christianity, it's allowed itself to be hijacked by the Jews and by Zionism.
What do you mean correct religion?
It is a religion that is factually correct, but
factually correct.
Let's keep it from an atheistic perspective.
Okay, now that's a Vorshism from the other side. Well, I'm just right. Yeah, it's like, this is like LARPy bullshit, and like, this guy, he didn't mention the kind of weird anarchist kind of bent, but he definitely has one. He's like a gender abolitionist, which I find incredibly cringe.
Let's just say, it doesn't matter if
pick your brain about that, but it's off topic, so... All right, factually correct. So, but you're going to stick with the atheist perspective for my sake, yes?
Okay, let's keep so we don't devolve into an argument about faith.
Sure.
If you look at Christian society, the United States is a slave of Israel. Europe is a slave of Israel.
I mean, I wouldn't say slave, but we certainly enable them, yes.
So Christianity itself is so weak; it's allowed itself to get supplanted by
enable them to defend themselves. Hey, listen, I'm not going into that kind of shit. Fuck
it. By Jews and Judaism.
I see. How does this work?
Well, if you just look at look at how much U.S. dollars.
Just look at history. These arguments are like, it's not just leftoids that do this shit. It's not just queers that do this shit. Just look at history. Like, oh my god.
Are given to aid in Israel. Look at how many
Christians. I don't
Christians
care about the Israel stuff. Hang on.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
That's an Israel thing.
Judaism has nothing to do with.
There, like, what are you getting at here? What are the Jews doing
that's exactly
that you don't
what I'm getting at. You pretty much hit the nail on the head.
So what So you said feminism. What about feminism? So the Jews are pushing.
That's where his life is most likely to end. You can argue because nowhere in the Bible does it say life begins at conception, but there are actually hadiths about
opposed to me on the abortion thing because I was fervently pro-life back then, and so I accidentally got her pregnant because we didn't use very good protection.
Yeah. Oh dear. We're admitting to things. Fuck, I need to hear this.
And then I helped pay for her abortion. So that was kind of the point where I went through a very tumultuous mental struggle after that over the course of like more than a year. And finally I came out on the other side and I told myself, and I know that this sounds like I'm justifying it to myself, and perhaps that's true, but I don't really care. Like to me, it's a matter of personal freedom over your own body. And also the fact that a fetus does not deserve the same rights as the rest of us, or more rights, really, is what you're saying, because I cannot attach myself to a woman's uterus and then for 9 months and feed off her. I'm not allowed to do that. A fetus is, though, and you want to protect their right to do that. Why?
Because if you allow abortion, if you allow feminism, if you allow these deviant ideas into a society,
I think a good argument against abortion access would be something like, we're not talking about what the fetus is right now, but what it will become, perhaps. But I'm not sure, because I'm not actually anti-abortion. But I'm guessing that would be a better argument.
You end up with a lower birth rate. You know, Israel has a birth rate.
Wait. Why do I care? Why do I care?
You care because if you become a country like South Korea, which has a birth rate of something ridiculously low, like 0.7 births per women, you will go extinct after enough generations. There will be no more.
That's pretty retarded. You're not just going to go extinct because the birth rate at the moment isn't very high. Like, I don't believe that. You can't just assume that it's just going to stay the same and it's just going to go down and down and down.
I'm alive. Yeah. What do you mean you will go extinct? You mean like the human race?
Your nation, your tribe, whatever ethnic group you descend from, if it does not have...
I don't care about the ethnic group I descend from. I'm part German and part Irish, and I'm all American, and I live in America, and I live for my fiance, and I'm going to have kids at some point in the future, and that's what I live for. I don't live for my nation.
If you don't have a birth rate of 2.1 births per capita, what you live in will go extinct after 100 years.
Why?
Just mathematically. Because if you aren't...
Yeah, this is fucking retarded. Like... I don't like Gunt's energy, but he's not really being given much to work with here, you know what I mean? I can sympathize on that front.
Replacing your population, if you're not having 2.1 births per capita, 2 to replace the parents, plus the occasional third child to keep it going.
What if I hold a woman down and forcibly impregnate her? Is that good?
And that's my cue to skip forward, because I don't know, I don't need to, like, just why? Why do these fucking Vorshites do this shit? It's fucking weird.
Into a war and you kill all the men. Someone's gonna have to take...
This reminds me of like that Destiny period where like 2 or 3 years ago, like just every example of something, it'd be like, so imagine you get raped, you know, it's like, just don't, like, is there nothing else you could like think of? But I don't know.
Take care of the women. Okay. Someone has to do something with them. So
course,
you enslave them. You enslave them.
You're right.
Well, they might fall in love with you. It might not necessarily be...
What? I asked you, is it okay to hold a woman down and forcibly impregnate her? To which you replied 99.99% of the time, no.
It's going to be something about fucking, maybe the universe will go extinct if you don't do it, and then maybe it's okay and we'll get some fucking sophistry out of it. Let's keep going. Have they talked about like trans like almost at all?
What do you mean this would never apply?
Like the US, because...
To free them?
Yes.
That's disgusting. I still think that's disgusting. You can just say you're at war still. First of all. And second of all, I don't think it's okay in any situation ever.
But then these people have no idea what wartime is like because they're all white Americans.
Well, you know, we just have an opinion on this matter.
Sure.
What, do you live in the northern United States? If you don't mind me asking, or the southern United States?
I live in Ohio.
Okay, so you don't live in... I live in the southern United States. You know, there's a lot of... I mean, I don't even know how we got sidetracked on the conversation.
I don't either.
Going back to abortion. Going back to the conversation.
But now that we've established that there are situations where is okay in your mind, go ahead and let's get back to, well, we were originally talking about trans people, and I know that you think they're gross and yucky and whatever. I think that it's gross and yucky to allow for in any situation.
Gross and yucky. Oh, painful. I hope you know this is painful.
But please continue about why autogynephiles are the real perverts here. I'd love to hear.
Autogynephiles are the real perverts.
Well, they are perverts. I mean, the clue's in the name.
Okay.
Because they live in a manner.
Do they think that?
He's trying to explain, and Gunt just fucking keeps going. Like, just shut up.
Allowed to rape people during war, like that's okay.
Very few, because they subscribe.
Very few, right? So the answer is no. They generally don't. Correct.
They generally don't.
Okay, so then why is convince me that an autogynephile is less perverted than you?
An autogynephile is less perverted than me for.
What? There's like 2 idiots. Fuck me. I don't know why I'm watching. This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. Fucking progressive victory. You are very welcome to this guy. Jesus.
Or I mean the other way around. I'm less perverted than an autogynephile for 2 reasons. Because I will have children. An autogynephile has sterilized himself. He will not contribute to the war.
Wait, I have a feeling that autogynephiles probably don't normally sterilize themselves. I don't know if that many of them go through that many like transition steps personally, but I could be wrong.
World.
He also won't rape people.
No, I don't, because I'm not in a state of
No. I said the autogynephile won't. I'd rather somebody castrate themselves than rape somebody. Would you?
But I mean, I would rather. Honestly, I would rather. I mean, it's a very hard situation because both are horrible.
Oh, it's it's difficult to decide whether it's okay to rape the person, right? I hear what you're saying. That's really gross.
even out of something as evil in normal situations as, a child can be conceived and a new soul brought into this world is always an amazing thing. But a man who castrates himself...
No, it's not. No, it's not. You know what it's not an amazing...
This is really stupid. Maybe there'll be a decent argument from one of them at some point. Is that what I'm expecting? I don't know.
And if you're the product of that is beautiful, yes?
I never look at, that's considered zina of the eyes. And, we're always being watched by two angels. The angel on the right side counts all of your good deeds.
Does the angel think that is okay?
The angel is a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the angel believes in Sharia. So the angel understands that in times of war, polytheists might get taken as captives, and
they're fine with that.
It might happen.
God, this is more about rape than it is like autogynephilia. I feel like he's the one like trying to push the conversation away as well. Like starts bringing up other stuff like unprovoked like a lot. I could be wrong. I'm skipping through, but
he came with his boyfriend to come visit my grandma, and his boyfriend didn't even greet my grandmother. That's the level of rudeness and self-centeredness we're at a society at this point. If you...
You should have her. That's what I think you should have done. Yeah, well, because that's clearly something that you hold dear to your heart is that, people should be allowed to rape people in certain circumstances.
Well, no, that would not...
So I think that would have made him...
I'm wondering which of the two of them is actually fucking obsessed with rape. Like, dude, change the channel.
Less of a pervert in your mind, probably. If I had to think that people like you are a blight, and I'd rather have super AIDS.
Oh, and there we go to the ad-homs, of course. Once you've accused them of being a rapist, you don't have to try anymore. Just call them whatever the fuck you want to.
To sin, to commit one of the Quran calls it the most vile sin known to man.
As opposed to, which is fine.
Jesus, every time I skip, it's like... Oh yeah, well, what about rape? Yeah, well, have you considered rape?
Most circumstances, under certain situations.
Okay, so how many circumstances?
I think what's happened here, bearing in mind I skipped through half of this shit, is that Gunt walked him down a path that made it sound like he was pro-rape, and now he doesn't really have to debate anymore because he can just compare everything the other guy says to rape. It's very demon mama. Not someone you want to associate with at the moment because it turns out she's a groomer, but hey. Yeah, I don't know. This is fucking cringe. I don't like Alec Gunter. I sure as fuck don't like whoever he's talking to. They seem interesting. I don't know. Oh, he's got someone wrote him a letter. What the fuck is this? Hang on. Hello, Mr. Gunther. I am sorry you found my perspectives on concubinage as repulsive and degenerate. Found a discussion very interesting and mind-opening, although I will have to agree to disagree with you on all matters discussed. One thing I was not able to get into is that Sharia does penalize rape when not in case of war. If the man is married, he will have to be stoned to death, blah, 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 blah. Not an expert on Sharia. Would like to come back sometime, and he's going to be like, no, you let me talk about rape a bunch more. Fascinating. Alec Gunter, saving the trans by accusing anyone that doesn't like us of being a rapist or something. I don't fucking know. I don't care anymore.